Hey Ranger Nation, welcome back to another video, and today we're talking about Winning Attitude, which is the 4th episode of Power Rangers Dino Fury. And this episode isn't too bad, but if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop, and let's just jump straight into it. So this episode wasn't too bad. It's the typical trope of one Ranger not listening to a friend or a family member, and there you go, absolutely, I'm not paying attention to you, you let me down, and then there's a really kind of good reason behind this. And yeah, fair dues, this, at least we got this now. I think I would rather get these sorts of episodes out of the way. So we're introduced to a new character, which is Lily, who is Izzy and Harvey's cousin. And this episode's all about Izzy wanting to win an entire race, this marathon or this race that's coming up, and Izzy wants to win it. So that's pretty much it. We're also looking at other parts where they want to find the Zords for Izzy and Javier and stuff like that, which is good because it's showing that they want to get them in quite quickly, rather than just kind of they suddenly appear out of nowhere. Solaron's going to be making a device that can easily find them, because the Zords have been buried for millions and millions of years, so obviously they're going to be somewhere. Now I have one thing one thing that continuity thing got me was at the very end of this episode, which to me was a bit on a few things, but we'll get into that at the very end of the episode. So we get kind of a catchy song when it goes to Jane and Jayborg, and they're talking about how to find the Rangers, if there's a Sporix or a Sporix beast pops up, what to call. And the kids are very excited because of this song that's being sung, and all of a sudden we've got some monsters that come down. Brine Blast, Mucus, and Boom Tower all appear, and basically Jane and Jayborg freak out. Just before, we see a Sporix, which is Brine Blast, crawling up Jane's leg type thing, crawling up Jane's leg, and she freaks out, and thus therefore the kids call the Power Rangers, which I thought was a little bit funny. So the Rangers arrive, they morph, they fight, but we see a lot of Sentai footage, and majority of this, I think this obviously is the largest amount that we've seen in the series so far, bar Zord footage and Megazord fights and stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting to see, and when I was watching it, I'm sure that I was Brine Blast, he's he doesn't want to fight type monster, or that could be a monster later on, but I was kind of remembering what it was like for Rhea Soldier and stuff like that. So when this was happening and they were racing to it, I generally was I'm sure I've seen this Rhea Soldier episode. Bit of a fight, bit of comedy where one of the Hingemen is looking through the kind of looking hole, and Zato just kicks him in the face, or it's meant to be a bit of tiny humor, but I don't think it worked that much. It was just oh, there we go, that's happening right now. Now, as soon as the Rangers almost defeat Brine Blast and Boom Tower, what happens next is you've got Izzy. She's kind of wondering what's been going on with training, so she runs off. Now this is where Izzy shows a bit of a kind of oh, why do you have to be like this? I generally kind of thought it would be Javier, who's a bit of a dick, but no, Izzy meets up with Lily and asks why, how come you were 30 minutes late for training? And Lily just gives a response of I was helping my friend, but Izzy doesn't kind of take this, and you see this sort of attitude she's not willing to listen, because I think Lily was about to say, hey, my friend has hurt herself, so I'm helping her, but Izzy doesn't listen at all and just kind of moves away. It's nope, not even going to kind of listen to what you say. And Izzy just gives this whole attitude of, if you're not here to help me, you're not beneficial in any capacity. So that's it. And I generally was could you not listen to the reason? But so why are we helping shopping? I think Izzy in her mind generally thought oh, you were shopping for clothes, or you were shopping for other things and stuff like that, which wasn't what it is. Training is more important than anything whatsoever. And that does kind of irritate me, because you kind of think that Izzy would have learned, but maybe this is her kind of realization. So she's nope, I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to kind of move on, and that person is in the past. Get a quick kind of switch to Void Knight and everyone, where they're looking for the Zords, and they find out that I think Void Knight and everyone else says the scientists from Area 62 were looking in the area and found metal that they didn't realize, but they could never find it, so they know where the Zords are. They devise a plan where you have, they're going to drop a bomb to blow them up, because there's millions and millions of years of rock that is kind of like keeping the Zords at bay. It's little things like that, which isn't too bad, but again, it kind of leads into the plot device, which I wasn't quite happy with. So we come to the part now where the race is beginning. Everyone is cheering on for Izzy. Izzy looks over at Lily, and Lily's all like, because Javier is like, hey, how are we doing? Like, come over here. And Lily's like, no. And obviously the fight has kind of escalated to that. So I love my favorite part in this is when Izzy looks kind of like, she's done something wrong. I love that Javier and her dad just turn around and say, is it gas? It was just like that little bit of comedy, because it's like, no, I'm not. I don't have it. So now if we ever see her face like that, we know either she's worried that she's done something wrong, or it's gas. Either way, take your pick. I like subtle bits of comedy like this. This is what really kind of makes it. So the race begins, and Izzy is like running off and doing her thing, and she's obviously winning. Just as the race begins, Mona comes over. Izzy realizes, oh, look, your leg is broken, so I can understand the reason why you're doing this. So, fair dues, really, really sorry, that particular type of thing. And we just kind of move on to the next part where Izzy is doing the race. Kind of wrapping this up, we see that Jane and Jayborg are literally looking around. Brine Blast teleports in, grows up, starts attacking them. They get into the kind of like this wheelie bin or this dumpster, and then go straight down to the end and hit a police car, and yet they get a ticket, and that's particularly it for them. We then see that the new girl that Lily mentions at the very beginning of the episode is now catching up to Izzy, and then obviously the new girl hurts herself. Izzy stops to help because that's the right thing, which then causes her to lose the race, and therefore Izzy then sees that Boom Tower and Mucus are actually there, like planting a bomb to actually destroy the Zord. Now this is the one thing that really got me, because the drill is going down, but then when we see the Zord kind of like bust out of the mountain, it's like if the bomb's going down, then it just, you're not necessarily on top of the mountain, but it just feels like they don't really kind of explain it, which is fine, they don't have to. But for continuity, it's drilling down, and then the Zord busts out of the kind of like this massive mountain. So you can see that there's a bit of consistency, because they're looking up at the Zord rather than looking like straight on or something like that. So we then get a fight. Rangers use Brine Blast to actually bring out the Tiger Claw Zord, literally waste Brine Blast. Then we get a combination, and at the very end of the episode, everyone's talking about the race. Izzy comes in last. Lily gives her medal to Izzy, and that is pretty much it. They kind of make up. Izzy says like she should have listened to her, and that's it. That's all you get, really. And yeah, that is pretty much the episode. The episode wasn't too bad in my eyes. I generally kind of really liked it. I thought that there'd be a bit more more American footage, because you've spoiled us now, but I think it kind of worked in. I think the blending of the episode wasn't that great when it came from some Sentai footage to American footage. And I still think, because of my stream of this kind of like cut out when Zato's calling in the massive sword, but it looked like, again, they're still using the same footage from like episode 1, where the Rangers disappear from the cockpit and then suddenly they appear. So I kind of would really like to know if that's going to stop soon, or if it's going to have all the Rangers, once they get the Zords in, that they're all there, not just like they disappear then reappear. That's one thing that I kind of so I might tweet out about that. So in general, it was a good episode. I feel like it was one of these things where Izzy realizes not to judge everything like off bare fact, where if someone explains it, then it's a lot easier. Will it change much later on? I have no idea. Will it be better? Who knows? This episode, I think, is a good one. I just felt like it was a tad bit slow, but I like the fact that it also character built quite a bit. So it's one thing, and it kind of made me want to start running for some strange bizarre reason. So well done, Power Rangers, well done for that. I'm hoping that everyone else liked this episode, so let me know down below in the comments, what do you think about this? Do you like this episode? Do you not? is this something that you really liked? And, would you like to see more of these sorts of episodes? Do you think that they're going to go down the character redemption thing where Izzy or one of the other characters becomes a dick and then like later on they're not doing it and they're like, yep, we're all fine now, I've learnt my lesson, and the more character development builds up? Let me know down below in the comments, and if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。